In this pod, we'll look at instances of revolt and rebellion in response to King William I's rule.
Resistance to the Norman rule was widespread. William I faced many acts of rebellion. They were not coordinated and broke out across different parts of the country, including the Welsh borders, the southwest, and the north.
Of these regions, the threat in the north was the biggest challenge to William during the first years of his reign. They did not accept William as king, and William's power had not been fully extended into distant northern areas. This made the area attractive to those who wanted to challenge William.
The first group to use the north in an attempt to defeat the Normans were Edgar Atheling, Archbishop Stigand, Earl Edwin, and Earl Morcar. They fled William's court in 1068 and headed north. Atheling sought the support of the Scottish king, Malcolm III, for his claim to the throne. The earls returned to their lands and began to build armies. In response to this threat, William took action and marched his army north.
As he moved northwards, William built castles in strategic locations, including Nottingham, in Earl Edwin's land, and in York, in Earl Morcar's. Crops, homes, and animals were burnt as a sign of his power and to force people to comply with his commands. This was a stark warning to the people of the north and revealed the tactics William was prepared to use if ignored or disobeyed. Unsurprisingly, both earls submitted to William and did not rebel.
However, the revolts did not end. In 1069, William faced what many historians have called his greatest threat. Robert de Comines was made Earl of Northumbria by William in 1068. He was the first Norman to take this role, and it had previously been given to Anglo-Saxons. In 1069, Robert was tasked with building a base and establishing a strong force in Durham. Despite being warned that a rebel force was mobilizing against him, Robert rode to Durham. On the 28th of January 1069, rebels attacked, killing many of his men on the streets and burning him to death. This gave hope to rebellion movements in the north and led to a second attack.
Seizing hope from the events in Durham, another English army surrounded York. They claimed the Norman castle and waited for Edgar Atheling to travel south from Scotland to support them. Until this point, Atheling had taken refuge in the Scottish king's court following the minor rebellion of 1068. Fearful of the consequences, William quickly mobilized and travelled north.
His patience thinning, William used brutal force to end the rebellion. He ordered every pasture to be burnt, men, women, and children to be killed, and livestock to be slaughtered. Many died, either by the sword or starvation. This period, which stretched from 1069 to 1070, is known as the Harrying of the North. In response, the rebels that were not killed during this act fled, and Edgar returned to Scotland. A second castle was built in York to prevent future attacks.
Another serious threat to William was formed on the Isle of Ely between 1070 and 1071. Ely was held by rebels and led by a man called Hereward the Wake. William was forced to deal with this following a Danish landing upon English soil in 1070. With the support of the rebels, the Danes had easy access to England's river system. Initially, this was dealt with at a local level. However, the island's natural defences made attacking impossible. In 1071, the situation worsened when Morcar alongside other resistors fled there.
William was forced to take action. He began by bribing the Danes to leave. Then he surrounded Ely. After 2 attempts at bridge building, William launched his cavalry. Hereward escaped and Morcar surrendered. Others faced physical punishment. In doing so, William sent another powerful message not to rebel.